Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat. Here I am today covering Toonami's ratings from December 7th, 2019. Let's start at the top of the block. My Hero Academia got a .28, One Punch Man got a .22, Dr. Stone got a .18, Fire Force got a .15, Food Wars got a .14, Demon Slayer at a .14, Black Clover at a .12, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind at a .11, Naruto Shippuden at a .13, Lupin the Third Part 5's finale at a .12, and a rerun of Attack on Titan at a .10. Overall, this was actually a pretty disappointing week for the block. Like, the only real upside is that the top of the block more or less did pretty well still, with My Hero Academia only dropping a little bit. It says here that it actually went up, but actually, if I recall correctly, it was at a .29 last week, so it actually is a bit of a downfall for My Hero Academia. Albeit being in the high point twos is still pretty solid for the show, so not much can be said there. Then they have One Punch Man with a tiny drop to a .22, 300s. And I say that's tiny because it just gets a whole lot worse from here if you're talking about where the ratings are going. Dr. Stone dropped 400s. Like, and it's basically back to .18. It's kind of been the area it's been the whole time of its ratings. It's either been in the high teens or it's just eclipsing .2 or so. So really, note like 2 weeks ago when we had the last full schedule, we had amazing ratings up and down the board for Toonami. So you have to take that a bit into account when you have to consider how much the ratings fell this week. That although some of them fell just enough to get to normal, some of them really fell this week to be like below normal, including one very, very notable example towards the end of the block here. Then you have Fire Force falling 700, so losing about a third of its audience from week to week, or 2 weeks, considering last week was a marathon of Food Wars. Falling to .15. This might be the lowest the show's gotten on the block. If not, it's pretty close. Then you have Food Wars at a .14. Like I've said many times, Food Wars inevitably is going to get pushed down the block. It's one of the longest runners on the block right now. I think we still have got like 40 something episodes left of it. So it's going to get the Hunter x Hunter treatment and fall down the block, unfortunately. So, you know, it's it's not going to be the most promising feature for Food Wars. It's going to be like a late block staple in a way that Shippuden currently is. So on to the next show, Demon Slayer, to a .14 this week. It has been showing signs of life in the previous few episodes, climbing the ratings, getting to that .2, the last showing it had 2 weeks ago. And I'm not going to be too presentive, but this might be the show. This might be the signing that Demon Slayer's kind of popularity is kind of starting to wane in the U.S. Like, it got this shot of adrenaline when it first came to U.S. because of the hype from Japan. Because I've mentioned this multiple times, just because of how impressive it is, the fact that it was the first manga in like forever to supplant One Piece as the most sold manga in Japan. So so naturally it's gonna have a lot of hype, and it definitely had a lot of hype here in the US for a while. But I'm starting to hear people not really talk about Demon Slayer as much. So I think it might be kind of waning in popularity. And unlike something like My Hero Academia, which has been around forever and had popularity, or Attack on Titan that's been around for years and had popularity, or hell, even like Sword Art Online, which for some inexplicable reason is still somewhat popular like 5, 6 years later, this show might not quite have the staying power that those shows do, much less compared to something like Naruto or Dragon Ball or even One Piece, which has hit that weird legendary status for how long they've been able to stay popular as entities. But onto that, and on to Black Clover. Not as bad a drop as the shows around it. It's not too often you get to say it dropping 500s is not that bad, but again, when you have Demon Slayer dropping even more, Fire Force dropping a touchdown, then that's going to start to look good. And also, it doesn't get built upon by the next show because the next show, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, was the biggest loser of the night. The lowest rated show on the block outside the Attack on Titan rerun, .11. And again, JoJo has kind of just struggled. Like, even going back to Diamonds Unbreakable, especially towards the middle of Diamonds Unbreakable, he started hitting this period where the ratings really were starting to falter and look very unimpressive, which is part of the reason why JoJo's just kind of been stuck as like a 2:30 or late at night block staple. now for the last couple years or so. It's because it does have a very devout fan base, but the problem is it's more about devotion than the actual size of it. Like I've been mentioning many times here, that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has some of the most devout fans in anime. It's just the fact that they're so devout that they sound louder than they really are. And then afterwards, you get Shippuden, only dropping 200s to a 0.13. All things considered, that was a pretty good night for Shippuden. And then you have the finale, Loop on the Third, Part 5, holding steady to 0.12. And again, although you would really like to see the finale of a show have amazing ratings at, like, raising ratings, it holding steady and not being the lowest rated new show of the night's probably good enough for Loop on the Third, Part 5, considering that it's never been a ratings darling. Actually, the Loop on the Third series never really has been on Toonami. And then again, you have the Attack on Titan rerun at a 0.10. As a note, next week will be another new episode week. However, at 3 o'clock, we're going to have the Loop on the Third OVA, Is Loop on Still Burning, which I think will air through to like 3:45. And I think they're going to do something where they have like a normal Adult Swim, like 15-minute show afterwards. And that's how the block ends, or something weird like that. But up to that point, the rest of the block's going to be normally scheduled. And the week after that, we're going to have a marathon of One Punch Man on December 21st. And December 28th schedule hasn't been announced, but I feel like it's going to be a marathon, most likely of My Hero Academia, considering it's the highest rated show on the block right now. And then probably to start the new year, we might have a completely different schedule. And we definitely by then will have a replacement for Loop on the Third, Part 5. So what do you think that replacement show is going to be? What do you want it to be? Is Boruto coming back? Is Alicization Second Core finally coming to the block? Is it finally going to be Mob Psycho 2 coming to the block? Or is it something completely out of the grab bag here? What are your opinions? If you like this content, if you want more Toonami ratings content like this, please like this video, please subscribe and hit that notification button. I'm Super Orange Cat, and that is all.